know how they arrived. One minute they were walking, the next they stood before an immense wooden door carved with stars and roots. It hummed softly, like it was breathing. There were no signs, no hinges, but something inside whispered, "Enter." The door opened without a sound. Inside was a grand library, not of this world. Endless rows of ancient books spiraled upward beyond sight, shelves winding like galaxies. The air was warm, and each breath carried the scent of old pages and something softer, memory. No one spoke. There were no librarians, only the sound of shifting paper and the occasional flicker of candlelight. In the center stood a pedestal, and on it a single book with their name etched into the cover. Their hands trembled as they reached for it. The pages turned themselves, and with each one they saw pieces of their life, some vivid, some forgotten. A childhood smile, a lonely walk, a conversation they wished they'd ended differently. The book remembered what they tried to forget. Deeper into the library, they found more books, none labeled, yet each one knew them. One opened to a letter they never sent. Another revealed a dream they abandoned. These weren't just stories. They were the stories beneath the silence. They weren't overwhelmed. They were held. The library didn't judge. It simply reflected. It invited. And in its quiet, they began to understand. Their life wasn't a line, it was a library. Some chapters short, others long. All of them sacred. They wandered deeper. Rooms changed with emotion. In one room, it snowed gently as they read about grief. In another, warm lanterns flickered with every remembered kindness. The library didn't just record moments, it honored them. At the end of one long hall, they found a book sealed shut with wax. Its spine radiated heat. They knew what it was before touching it, the chapter they feared most. But something in them had shifted. They didn't turn away. They opened it. The memory hurt, but didn't break them. They read until the tears came. And when they closed the book, the room around them bloomed walls of vines, warm light, the scent of rain. Healing wasn't erasure. It was recognition. They wandered until they found a spiral staircase leading up, its steps glowing faintly. With each step, their burden felt lighter, not gone, but lighter. Because now they carried truth, not avoidance. Memory, not fear. At the top, there was no grand exit, only a small door and a bench. They sat, and the book with their name appeared once more, now heavier, filled with more pages. But it felt like a gift, not a weight. A reminder, their story was still unfolding. They looked down at the final page. It was blank. Not because there was nothing left to say, but because it was theirs to write. The library could hold their past, but only they could write what came next. When they stood to leave, the door opened once more, not behind them, but ahead. The path wasn't back to where they came. It was forward into the unknown. But now, they had something more precious than certainty, self-understanding. As they stepped through, The library dimmed, but didn't disappear. It waited, because once discovered, this place never truly left you. It simply became part of you, like breath, like memory, like story. And beyond that door, with the book in hand and their story in motion, they walked into life again, not to forget, not to escape, but to live more fully, having remembered what was always inside them, the pages waiting to be written.